I told him to kill the noise, I told him to kill the noise. Bow, bow. Hello everyone, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 favourite Kill the Noise tracks of all time. This is the 5th in this series where I'm covering my top 10s of artists, labels, certain genres, all of which is completely subjective and not definitive, a reflection solely on my personal taste and experience. And here I'm going to go over my all-time picks from one of the very best modern dubstep has seen, Jake Stanczak, aka Kill the Noise. Writer of one album, 3 EPs, and many insane originals and remixes beyond that, my favourite 10 of which I will be listing here. Undeniably one of the most important musicians in getting me into bass music originally, and so this one feels overdue somewhat. In this list we have tracks that Kill the Noise has his name on and that have had an official release only, so originals, remixes, collaborations, and not tracks that he's made for other people or anything unreleased or IDs, etc. Just before we get started here, past top 10s, if you want to check them out, are linked right here. But yeah, my top 10 Kill the Noise tracks of all time, here we go. And coming in at number 10, we have a perfect example of how fun and bubbly, hard, heavy hitting dubstep can be. And that tune is Real Life. I've always loved how all the sounds here kind of rebound off one another, very twisted and juicy, flavoursome, colourful, vibrant, whatever you want to call it. Just the flavour of the track overall, it's got that sauce while still being very heavy. The percussion is incredible, the musicality full of life, not epic in structure but a real sense of story and character to it as well. Just so joyous. After that, number 9, we have one of those where you have to say pretty much all of it is amazing, barring the odd moment here and there. And it's a remix, actually, that he did of his own song, Without a Trace, alongside Virtual Riot. The dreamy, pulsating introduction, the twisted builds, the manipulation of the vocal in those builds, just fantastic. The dubstep is monstrous, not incredible ideas-wise, but mad sounds on show. They get the dynamic, not only between sounds, but also sequences, I think, completely spot on. The momentum of the track overall is just really something to behold, I think. A stunning midsection here also at the midway point, and you just feel they must have had an amazing time making it together. I don't know if they were in person or if it all happened online, but still, yeah, they must have had a lot of fun putting it together. Yeah, really good, and again, one that has basically everything. Next up, number 8, we have another really fun track. This time with a bit more of a beat to it, yeah, a bit more quicker paced and faster tempo, and that tune is Deal With It. Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this. Which begins, of course, with the very hyped introduction, the warmth of it kind of nestling and lying underneath, getting you right in the mood for what is to follow. I love how at that point in the introduction you don't quite know whether it's going to be super dark or really upbeat and vivacious and full of life. Turns out it's a mix of both. The heaviness is a load of pounding, devilish electro house, but still very excitable. So yeah, again, got that mix very on lock, and can't forget, of course, the dubstep breakdown about midway through, giving it a new lease of life altogether. Yeah, very fresh, but also very dirty. So, yeah, a lot going for it. So good. Then number 7, one of the best cases of metal and dubstep being brought together ever, I think, no question, and that is his remix of Under and Over It by Five Finger Death Punch. One of those where the structure isn't expansive per se, but you'd still call it epic, I think, as a combination of elements, if you get me. The mixture of Ivan Moody's voice, which is at points heavenly and at other points raspy and very full-on, very heavy metal, with the grungy dubstep of Kill the Noise, just makes for such a great combination. The flow and rhythm of the dubstep, the relationship between everything going on, from the vocal to the instrumental and beyond, just, yeah, so much chemistry and harmony, amazing stuff. And you hear the original as well, and you just realise how much he changed it and how clever it is, I suppose, as a result, having heard that original. So well done, and also at an early point in his career. So, yeah, big ups for this one, Jake. Moving on, number 6, we go from metal and dubstep to metal rap and dubstep. Another great remix here. And yeah, one that I've loved for so long now. One of my favourites ever, can't deny. That is the Kill the Noise remix, of course, of Growing Up in the Gutter by Yellow Wolf. This tune is incredible for how it creates a mood and tension lurking underneath, kinda like a ravenous animal, just waiting to be set free and let loose, if you will. In every instance, again, using the vocal to perfect effect and in different ways as well. So I suppose you could say it's quite versatile in that way. The dubstep is savage, meaty, oozy, folding in and out, really kind of twisted and contorted, getting you right here in your stomach area, tying it in knots. So evil, and one of those, I think, that reminds you of just how creative and ambitious dubstep used to be. Thankfully, we'll always have songs like these, they'll never leave us, but it's a shame we don't get more stuff like this tune right here today. But, yeah, overall, Growing Up in the Gutter remix, so good. Okay, number 5, and you guessed it, another remix. And I think it is difficult usually to get the right mix of beautiful and heavy or dark. Not many have done it that well, or in an effective way, if you will. But Kill the Noise does so here, with his take on Rip and Dip by Getter. More than most tunes here, I think this one is a mix of knockout moments, a lead line from the original that I didn't think could be improved, giving it extra charm, which is really saying something, I think. The gnarly guitar, the changes for the second drop, and the little laugh that we get in the second drop as well. Just so well dropped in. Ah, so good. And on the lighter side, the time-stopping midsection, the stunning outro, all the while mad energy and the moments of impact really felt so well cut. So yeah, bloody good. After that, number 4, we have a song that for me represents peak nostalgia. Yeah, for yours truly, this is one of the very first songs that I fell in love with instantly upon hearing it for the first time, and I've fallen deeper in love with it every time I've heard it ever since then. And that tune is Dill the Noise with Dylan Francis. This song is just so lovely, I can't even, so happy, brimming with life, so summery, the vocal chopping, the jovial synths over the top. It just reminds you of good times, and the underlying fuzz kind of keeping it bouncing along from start to finish. Never ever failed to brighten my day, what can I say? Got the heavy side as well, with the booming big remember in the drops, and the outro is one of the most enjoyable sequences I've ever heard. Pure joy and an amazing mix of influences on show here. Yeah, just beautiful. Next up, taking the bronze medal at number 3, another that I think hangs in the balance between being a bit sweet and a bit evil, but this example is one that I would say is a more emphatic case of that kind of mix, and that tune is Saturn with Brills and Minx. I'll never forget hearing these drops for the first time. Completely took me off my seat, and I think if any tune from the last decade or so is going to be seen as one that almost genuinely blew my mind, it would be this one. I was really blown away and taken aback. The drops are monstrous, they are beastly. The way they wind up as well, giving it an added sense of thrill, if you will. Thanks also in large part to the kick here. Thumping stuff and absolute perfection on the execution there. Also can't forget the alluring vocal from Minx, which is so well suited to the instrumental, really holds its own. And the whole tune overall doesn't even do that much, but just really knows what it's good for and runs with it. Moments of relative quiet as well, really appreciated to kind of quell it down at points, which I think is needed. Yeah, just a really rounded and complete tune here. Moving on, number 2, one of the first remixes I ever heard, which in my opinion has stood the test of time to remain one of the most impactful and important edits that modern bass music has ever seen. And that remix, of course, by Kill the Noise, is of Spitfire by Porter Robinson. Now, we've talked about the notion of the epic already, and I think few can lay claim to being that quite like this one, in terms of the tunes talked about in this video. From the intro to the builds, the thrilling synths, in the heaviness, the sheer pace of it, always with that sense of something huge about to happen or happening in the distance, you know, looming, lingering, dwelling, wondering, all of that. The second drop, D&B Switch Up, is one of the most impactful I've ever heard. The way the sounds fire off one another generally to find every little gap they can shoot off into is fantastic. Never letting up, keeping on delivering for the whole thing. And again, one of those where you hear the original and you're just like, fucking hell, that is expert stuff. You constantly feel like you're riding along with it, and I think that is exactly what you want from this type of tune. So yeah, fucking good. And just before I give you my number one Kill the Noise track of all time, I'm gonna run through a couple of extra or special mentions that were just outside the top 10. Black Magic, which would probably be number 11 here, just outside the top 10. A great track and loads to it, but one that I think I enjoy more for its structure than its ideas. Rockers, which is so much fun, really jumpy, the builds are mad good. Could have been more evil, but I do like it a lot overall. His remix of his own song, Joke's on You, just a fantastic refashioning of the original, where Kill the Noise, I think, became heavy for the first time, kind of like a turning point, so quite an important tune. His remix of Still Speedin', another really solid remix with a great switch up. Even better as a lover of Sway the rapper, so yeah, good stuff. His remix of New Era, pre-heavy Kill the Noise, straight up one of the cheekiest tunes I've ever heard, really well put together. Talk to Me, potentially the most outright demented and creepy that he's sounded, which I think is saying something. His remix of Diplodocus, the Neuro of Noisia, with the dubstep grunge of Kill the Noise, makes for a pretty captivating result. His remix of Tornado, one of his more heartfelt and emotional edits, I think, really beautiful and probably my favourite one from him outside the top 10. I Do Coke with Feed Me, which I feel just has to be mentioned, already iconic and a genre he hadn't dipped into really before in mid-tempo. Yeah, a great concept and really fun and reflective and meta, I think. And finally, Louder alongside Tommy Trash. This song, I feel, is so underrated. You know, so much hype to it. The vocal fits it perfectly and always just creeping and looming and then biting when it gets to you in the drops. You know, just really good. But at number one, my favourite Kill the Noise song of all time, and only one place to go here for me, absolutely no doubt on this one. And I think no tune that I've ever heard, you know, not just Kill the Noise, but bass music overall, paints a picture and it tells a story and provides an image quite like this one. And that tune, you will have all guessed it by now, Kill the Noise Part 1. It's like a comic or a film in that through the music, you can see everything happening in front of you. The animation of it, the cartoon in a way. Civilization here standing up against the noise, which of course is where we get Kill the Noise from. This zombie-like essence lurking in the background, told musically through clamours of Kill the Noise, Kill the Noise. Ah, it's just awesome. The introduction is probably the best I've ever heard in dubstep. Very patiently assembled and constructed. The dubstep is riveting, dystopian, frightening almost, you know, definitely from another planet. The outro as well, chills central with the piano. Couldn't be any better on that front. A near 8-minute dubstep track that's always got you locked in. Also carefully managed and pieced together, start to finish, and yeah, you just don't get tunes like this in dubstep today, ever, at all. Leaves me speechless pretty much every time I hear it. Will we see another like it ever again? Probably not. But there we have it, my top 10 Kill the Noise tracks of all time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. But what are your favourite Kill the Noise tracks of all time? Any that I mentioned here? any that I didn't mention here. Perhaps more importantly, let me know in the comments below. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Top 10, kill the noise, peace out.